Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is a little bit of a sensitive topic. If you can see the heading, if you're on my Facebook, you already know what this video is about. So the other day I was just innocently scrolling through Facebook after having quite a horrific night in hospital, a little bit of a scare with my pregnancy, and we just had a scan to say everything was all right, and then I was just, you know, killing some time, and there was a sponsored ad from Nurture UK egg donors recruiting for people to donate their eggs. And I was going to share it because since announcing my pregnancy, people have been asking questions, and I thought, oh okay, people, you know, this is somewhere they can go and talk to, basically. Then I noticed this comment that basically said, the long and short of it, people that wanted donor eggs were wrong. They were selfish, and they had a big ego just because they wanted a baby to have their partner's eyes, and they should just adopt the children that are in need and up for adoption. That was the short of it. It was a little bit more than that. Nurture UK responded with a little link saying thank you for your comment, but please don't tell infertile couples to just adopt, and sent this link. And she said she thanked them and just said it was still terrible, there's kids in need, these people should do the right thing. Yeah, and it just kept putting selfish and ego in capital letters, basically. I'm pregnant and hormonal, so the keyboard fingers come out, and I was really angry at first, and then yeah, then I calmed down. So basically I told my story. I had menopause when I was 13. I always knew that I was going to need donor eggs. Am I selfish with a big ego? Because for the last 17 years, I've fought every single day, and that's not over exaggerated, every single day, that I'd never be able to have a child. I wouldn't carry my own child. If I did have a donor child, am I going to bond with it? You know, the thoughts are endless. And to make myself feel better, I'd daydream about the day I'd get a positive pregnancy test and be able to tell people. And I got on with this in my own little world, because people who are fertile or haven't had issues, you know, of yet, don't quite understand how painful it is. Painful. And you know, those daydreams, they didn't come true. I've done about 25 pregnancy tests. I've now had 3 scans. I'm starting to actually believe I'm pregnant now. When I tell people, they get really excited, and I'm pretty cold because I don't believe it, because well, it's self-explanatory, isn't it? It's going to take me a while. Maybe around the 20th of August when I'm due, I might believe it. And I laid this out to her. I said it to her, and how much that we spent on our treatment, and it's not selfish, and people need eggs because they've had cancer and they've lost their egg reserve because of cancer treatment. For a variety of reasons, people need donor eggs. And she said, oh, I'm sorry for your hard time. You sound traumatized. I think you need counselling. And the money that you spent on IVF is still selfish, because you could have paid for vaccinations for ill children in other countries and sent them some books and water. Okay. Okay, valid point. Very valid point. But then where does that leave me for the rest of my life? So yes, in one way it is selfish. So, you know, we didn't have that money laying around. It's been, you know, tough. So we should have just, you know, borrowed that money still and just sent it away, and then just, you know, either adopted or been childless. I put this in some fertility groups as well as on my Facebook, and someone commented that yes, they had gone through cancer, and because they'd gone through cancer, they actually couldn't adopt because they'd had an illness, and that particular adoption agency wouldn't accept the application. Someone else has said that because their partner done something stupid as a teenager, as a lot of people did, they had a little mark on their record, which means again they can adopt. Some countries charge quite a lot of money for it. I believe, I don't know for certain actually, I'm not going to claim anything, that it takes a long time to adopt in the UK. So there are, you know, there's a lot more to just adopt than there is. And I personally think that fertility treatment and adoption are two very, 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 very different things. Now, there's a lot of fertile couples that want to adopt for no other reason. So I raised the point with this lady. Are they being selfish for taking the children of people that can't have them when they can have their own children? Or should people that can have kids adopt because those children need adopting? Because she also said the population was overpopulated, so we need to do something about it when there's lots of kids. She also said, I'm very passionate about this, so I'd be a great mum to an adoptive child in need. But I'm still selfish for carrying my donor child at the moment. So yeah, a few people got involved in this conversation, and it just opens up a can of worms. That what about same-sex couples? Are they doing the wrong thing if two females want to use a sperm donor, or two males want to use a surrogate as well as an egg donor, possibly? Are they doing the wrong thing? Should they not be able to have the newborn experience, the watching the bump grow on whoever it is carrying? It's just opened a whole can of worms, and it was just so uneducated and brutal, and her response to everything I wrote, and then some people got involved. Everyone was very factual, no one was offensive, and she was just attacking everybody. And it just made me think, you know what, in the 17 years I've known I couldn't have children, pretty much everyone's response was, you can just adopt. And yes, that is an option. I've been aware of it. You know, I was told, the moment I was told, I was sat there and they just said, you're never going to have your own family, so you'll need to use an egg donor or adopt. And they walked out of the room, and that's how they told me and my mum I would not have kids. I'm well aware of everything and the options available to me. But when you were told you cannot have children, especially when, I'm sorry, it sounds like I am playing my world's smallest violin, but I'm going to own it because it's been shit, and I'm not going to lie. That you can't have your own child, you feel like your body's failed you. And most people with, I'd say females, I can't speak for everybody, that can't have their own children, it won't be the sight of a newborn, it will be a pregnant woman that makes you feel inferior, that something is wrong with you. That's how it was for me. It'd feel quite, you know, painful, because I thought I'm never going to experience that. My body's not good enough. There's something wrong with me for this to happen. So in a way, being able to experience pregnancy is something that would help me heal, that would stop me hating my body, because I've grown up hating myself so much. So yes, if it is selfish that I want to grow a baby that way, then I'm the most selfish person in the world for this. If someone has lost their ability to have children because they've gone through cancer and survived, and then decide, actually I want to carry a baby, they're selfish too. It's just, don't throw it around so blasé if you don't really understand it. Maybe speak to that person that's confiding in you, probably, that they've got fertility issues, and find out a little bit more about it before you throw it around. Now, I'm not bashing adoption, because my plan in my head was always carry one, adopt one. You know, it's almost like, it sounds stupid, it's almost like it's giving back. Someone's given me an egg, I can give a child that potentially might not end up in a good home, a good home. I don't know if that is going to happen for us now, because we have 3 embryos left. But we've also planned to put our embryos up for adoption, so people can adopt embryos that can't achieve a pregnancy on their own. So we're giving back that way as well. It's just, I just don't think you should be, it's just penalised for the way that you look at life. Like I said, there's fertile couples that choose to adopt, and that's their decision. And it was our decision to do this. And the way that after I told her what we'd done and my background and how we had a struggle, how we didn't get approved funding, so we had to pay, and then her to throw around saying you should have sent that money to another country, you're selfish, was just... But the good thing about it is that I screenshotted one of her replies and put it on Facebook, and it actually sparked a lot of interest into people wanting to donate their eggs. And I think sperm donors are quite widely known, but egg donation is just kind of unheard of, which is stupid. It's not stupid, that's the wrong word. It's just not known, because obviously it takes the 2 factors to make a baby, but people don't talk about donating their eggs much. I think it seems a lot more personal. And it wasn't until I announced it and announced my journey, and I, you know, run a business with a lot of ladies coming in, people were asking me so many questions. They had no idea about it, and I love that, because I do get a bit embarrassed because I don't like sympathy, but I am happy to talk about it all day long and educate people on it, because it's heartbreaking. And since I've released these videos, I've had people message me about their own heartbreak, and it might not be not being able to have children, it will be losing children, struggling to conceive, like things like that. And it is getting people talking, and I want to get people talking about this, because the amount of times I've been told to just adopt is a lot, I'll put it that way. But there's so much more you guys can find out. There's, you know, Fertility Network website, there's the Daisy Network, which is the charity for my condition, there's Nurture Egg Donors, there's Care Fertility. That if you talk to them, any of their teams, they'll tell you everything you need to know, even if you just want to know a little bit more. But just be careful throwing that term around, because you just open a whole kettle of fish, and you're probably hurting a lot of people. Now, I did get really angry, I got upset, and it made me feel ashamed that I'd finally got to a stage where I am actually pregnant, which I'm still struggling to believe that something so amazing is happening to me. And we just had the okay, that, you know, the baby was okay, because I had a scare. And to read that and have a second of a doubt that I'd done something wrong was just awful. But anyway, it's done, and I'm trying to do some good out of it. So thank you so much for watching, and everyone that was really supporting me that day, I really appreciate it. I am so glad that I've been open about this journey, and it is still hard to admit sometimes how it's happened, but it's shown me how kind people are. And yeah, I thank you all. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.